Yeah, got everything on. 2 spoons.
What's up, profitable stylist? Here we go. We're going to do something fun. We're going to do the client's journey. And we're going
Me
to spend the
too.
next couple of weeks going over what it is that a client goes through to find us, to find you, and what does that experience look like at the salon.
It looks like this.
It looks like that. You love
Old
your
fashioned,
notes. You love taking all, you love
old
handwriting your
fashioned
notes.
paper. I know that we are going to miss some steps, and this is what I want to ask people as they watch this. If they're watching it today, if they're watching it a year from now, I'm always doing a client journey. I did it back when I did podcasts. I like the client journey and the stylist journey,
Hmm.
and it's ever growing. And so for this client journey, I'm actually going to touch on some of the topics, and then we're going to start at the beginning. But I think that there's so many people that I'm blocking my girl, huh? I should have been. Oh well, whatever. I I think that there's so many people fill in different things in there that we could be like, oh, I should add that. But just kind of quickly, I'm gonna run down the list here. Let me move my coffee over a little
Hey,
bit.
we bought you a coffee. Ding ding. Congrats. Woohoo.
Yeah, yeah. So our manufacturer in another country, she was asking me about changing packaging or something, and I said, well, did you see one of those videos that I? And she said, yes, I'm going to buy you a coffee tomorrow. I was like, she definitely watches the videos if she knows about the coffee. Oh my goodness, I just put powdered creamer in my coffee and I just saw milk come into the refrigerator for the first time. I could have did milk instead. So anyway, how did you hear about me? And that's what we're going to talk about today because there's so many ways, but before we do that, how does the client hear about you and want to even get a service done by you? So many ways, but even before after that, even before that, actually, we should write this down, is the marketing because you got to market, you got to get heard about. And then they get there. And then when they're there, they have an experience. And that experience, that's what I love people to put in the comments. Help us figure out, like, what do you do during your experience that everybody should do or that you do that's different that really works for you? Because during the experience, you've got to get a service done, but then you got all that side stuff going on, entertainment maybe, or selling retail. And I mean, there's so many things that could be done. You may have salon coordinators or receptionists. You may not. You've got people that just walk in. And then I even put bathroom on here because at some point during your service, people are going to the bathroom. How was the experience in your salon? Some of you guys have some dirty bathrooms. I've been in some salons across this country and I'm impressed with the salon. And then I'm like, what happened here? And then we got just the opposite. Got some crappy salons, and I'm like, this is a nice bathroom. Like, why can't you get it together? Let's have both very similar. If you got a crappy salon, you need to have a crappy bathroom, okay? But but on top of that, do you offer coffee, snacks, pleasantries, and then the finish? The finish is important. We all need to finish strong. How do you finish everything in the salon? And then is it ever done? Because then you've got retail. They got to pay. Do they buy retail? Do they buy products? Then do some people think, they paid, they're gone, it's done. Is it done? Do you follow up? Do you check on them? Do you email them, message them, text them? Do you see if they even liked what you did? Are they going to come back? Did you reschedule? So to me, that's kind of a loose client journey of what happens. But I think we could kind of deep dive into any one of those parts. Did any of those like really push any buttons on you when I was mentioning them all?
Especially the bathroom one, Bernardo. Yeah.
Money. You know, I've been in some salons where I'm taking pictures in the bathroom, not of me, but they've got the. I know you think this is stupid, but they've got these motivational sayings on the wall, and I'm like, I mean, you got so many that are telling you when and how to flush and what should be in the
You make
toilet or
me
not. And I'm
remember the
like,
Judge Dredd movies about the three shells. He doesn't know how to use the three shells.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I
I
know.
just
I know.
I like the motivational things in the bathroom that'll say something about doing better in the future or clever.
No, if
things
I
to
see
be.
another live, love, laugh thing, I'll just forget it. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Look, so the stylist journey starts off with, well, what does it really start off with? It starts off, I'm gonna say, it starts off as a client, you're frustrated. You're either frustrated or there's an event coming up and you got to get it done. You got to get your hair done for something, right? And that's what
Right,
starts the whole thing with, I got to go somewhere. I got to find something, right? So the first thing
right,
they do, you start asking friends, hey, who do you go to? Can you recommend anybody? You go on
or
the internet search and you're like, who's,
yeah,
half a block away because God forbid I drive 10 minutes, right?
near me, salon near me, right,
Convenience, you know. You start looking
right.
through the reviews and then you start doing the whole thing. And you just start looking at pictures and stuff. If it sounds right, then you go.
Well, that brings me to like, you have to. This is all about how you've provided good service. You got to try to get in the head of the customer to see how it's happening, what's going on, how they're finding you. And of course, if you're newer, less busy, you really need to figure this out a lot quicker because you need this to happen more. If you're super busy, you're going to grow differently. So there's two different paths here, depending on if you're a new stylist or more experienced, been around a while. You don't have to try so hard, but you have to try something because you're always losing customers. What is that word? When you're always attrition. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
there's a word called attrition. It basically means you're always kind of, if you don't do anything, you're not staying still. People think they're staying still. Nothing's ever staying still. It's either growing or not growing. It's going down. It's dying. And so if you're not marketing or doing good job in getting referrals or doing something to try to grow, you're slowly gonna die. And that kind of goes into the last video we did about renting. A lot of times when you go to rent a space, you think you got to the top of your game and you think, I'm going to go rent a space now and I'm going to just maintain because I've got these clients, and you don't market or do anything to get new clients and you don't realize it, but you do slowly die. And so that's one of the advantages of being in a salon with an owner that cares about growing the whole thing, even if it is a rental salon. Some of them do, but it makes me think, how did they hear about you? So to me, that then breaks into two major categories, free and paid. How did you get the client? Did you get it through some sort of free channel, which free would not be completely free. It's usually your time spent either guerrilla marketing, you're really good on social media. Hey, I'll put some things down here in the early days, or you're paying for advertising somewhere. And I'll put some things here that got my business started. I've been doing this 30 years, you know. So you know how I did it? TV, newspaper, phone book, mail, and postcards. Some of you
That
guys,
was the greatest thing when somebody said, I found you in the phone book. I thought that was the coolest. I used to think that was the coolest thing.
there was a time when we were paying $600 a month for the phone
For the
book ad.
freaking phone book.
It used to work. It was just in this little bitty location around you in your city, you know. It wasn't like the internet, but that was everything.
But hey, real
radio.
quick, Bernard, wouldn't that nowadays be the equivalent of a quick Twitter post or a quick Instagram post?
Everything I just named cost a ton of money. The only thing you could do free back then was yell out the front door, put a nice sign on the building, or you could do a lot of phone calls. Actually, you could use the phone book, and we would actually go through the phone book sometimes. And of course, you don't want to call every single person, like starting the A's and take 2 weeks to get through all the A's. You don't want to call individual people, but you would somehow possibly call certain businesses that you aligned with. You know, we or go visit them. I would go visit tattoo shops, and we were doing hair extensions, and people that were into image. We would go to tattoo shops. I had a tanning bed. I did hair extensions, and hair extensions paid so well. If I got one client, it was worth a lot of that marketing time. Whereas I wouldn't be going door to door trying to find people for a haircut. That's not the time trade-off was more difficult. But what I did do that even works today is I say hit every door. I went out my front door with a couple of my stylists and took a right. And the very next door that was available to walk in, I walked in the door and I handed 1 to 3 business cards. and said, I'm building my business. I would do your hair for free if you come before the end of next week, the first time, just so you can experience my service. And so I would, or 50% off, or whatever you want to do. So I was trying to get people that had jobs that could afford to pay. You know, if you go to a Walmart or a supermarket or something, you're getting people that may just be buying groceries, may not care about their hair. But to me, at first, I was like, I want to get people that I know have jobs that are working in the businesses right around me. So I would just go door to door, hand out some free cards, cross the street, go all the way across there, cross back, and finish out the block, and then be done. Then the next day or week, I would just start a little further down and do a bigger square or a different street. And so each week, going in and personally meeting people. That was the free. It was a lot of walking, a lot of time, a lot of effort. Nothing's free, but it didn't cost the money that I didn't have in the beginning.
I did it as referrals. That was my free, was the referrals. I
didn't have anybody to get a referral. I had to start with nothing.
Oh no! See, no, that's what I mean. I started from nothing.
You would go out and tell them if they sent people.
I would go to, so my favorite was the ice cream shop because I love milkshakes. And I used to make deals with the girls behind the counter. So if I could do their hair, I knew there's a lot of families coming to get ice cream. So they're going to see these girls checking them out, at the register, right? And who knows, right. Maybe they ask, maybe they don't. So my go-tos was always the ice cream shop and back then the video store, because, you'd be standing in line. Again, families passing through, right?
Do you like pralines too?
Oh, man. Is my favorite.
Some people don't even know what a praline is.
But then I would go to the coffee shop and I would buy everybody coffee just because I knew people would be going to coffee all the time to get coffee, right? And restaurants and bars. Every shop girl and waitress I would talk to just because they're the ones serving families. And I didn't care if I got the mom, the dad, the kid, the grandmama, the grandpa, anybody and everybody.
So let's translate that and how that works today. I started to get a little negative a few months ago thinking, God, it was so much easier back then. It's actually easier now. I thought it was easier back then because I did it. I knew how to do it. I've already arrived. I got that success that I was like trying so hard to get for a while. Of course, I never feel like I'm successful enough. I don't know. I'm just driven. I got to keep moving forward. But I feel like I finally hired a few stylists that have nothing. And they're like, how do I do this? I'm like, oh, it's not simple. I mean, it's an easy process, but it can be a little embarrassing. It can be a little intimidating. It can take a little time. And so I heard Gary V, talk about marketing today. And he said the best marketing or the best way to grow your business is word of mouth. And it's still around. It's just in the form of social media. And I was like, oh, that blew my mind. Because I was thinking word of mouth. I thought, Gary, word of mouth is dead, It still works in the hair business. Actual word from customer to customer, but you can amplify word of mouth by we did a social media one with Facebook. And so if you do a client's hair today, we're practicing right now in our salon with this, and it works so freaking well. I have a salon coordinator who will see, I'll just use the stylist that's right next to her, Vivian. Vivian will do some really nice hair. So Vivian will post it. She will tag the customer in there so the customer sees it. And then the salon coordinator will go and copy that post and put it on Vivian's wall so her friends and family see it. Instead of waiting for Vivian to tell her friends and family, she tells Vivian's friends and family, look what she did. We're so glad to have Vivian working in our salon. So then more of her friends and family remember and clap and good job, Vivian. And then, oh, that's right, Vivian does hair. We should send more of our friends and family. And then we do the same thing on the client's wall. We thank the client for coming in. Oh my God, you're a rock star. You look like a model. Your hair's great. We appreciate you coming into our salon, and post it to her wall so her friends and family see it before she even did her own little selfie and sent it out. We put it on her wall and all her friends and family see it. And then they're like, wait, what? You get your hair done with Vivian? at Onstage Hair Studio. Thank you, Melissa, for posting that. So it's tagging so many different people and our business all together. And we do that 3 or 4 times a week for 3 or 4 different stylists. So most people's Facebook feeds are just, and I know this kind of stuff can work through Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, any of the other. I'm reading off my list here, make sure I didn't miss any. I know we're always having a new, like we're on Discord right now. Some people probably use that for marketing, as well as YouTube and other random new social media outlets.
Yeah.
I don't know them, but you've got to use them. Even WhatsApp can be used in some ways for marketing. You just got to use word of mouth, let people know what you're doing, show the pictures. Do you use social media?
I use social media for personal social media. I don't do it for advertising. Get your mind out the gutter, man.
I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about.
So I have a private clientele, right? And so
like OnlyFans.
Jeez, man.
I don't know what you meant. I don't know this guy that well.
I'm done with this conversation with you. What's the next topic? No.
Shortest video ever.
The group so I'm in a couple of different groups. I'm in a couple of different channels. I'm in a couple of different circles, right? And it has built a little community amongst each other where if you constantly participate and share, you don't have to be the leader of the group even. You could just be part of somebody else's group. And just from the constant sharing and interacting, you start kind of, you start getting known. People are like, oh, hey, Eddie, what's up, man? What do you do? I'm like, I'm a hairdresser. They're like, oh, hey, do you do, and then they start making jokes. Do you do this kind of hair? Do you do that kind of hair? I'm like, yeah, come on in. We'll do it, whatever. Always be humble and always make a joke and always keep it lighthearted. See, this is one of the things when you're at a party or if you're in a group or whatever that moment is and somebody starts talking to you, that is not the correct environment to start full-blown consultation and hard selling somebody.
Can I get everybody's attention? I'm a hairdresser.
Right? No. You're in a social environment. You're on a social platform. Keep it sociable. Yeah. Invite everybody to come in. And that's when you show them what's up because now you're in your environment. Right?
Yeah.
And now you've got all the permission in the world to do what you do best, which is be a rock star hairdresser.
You reminded me, right? That was a good point when you said the circles. Some of I had never had to do it this way because I stepped out from behind the chair a few years ago. But some of my stylists are doing a great job being in these, I don't know, specific groups for the community. Like all the mom groups. You've got Name Your City. We're in Slidell, and there's a Mandeville city right near us, so it's like Slidell Moms, Mandeville Moms, and then you've got all kind of other bicycling group, the walking group, the non-mom groups, the working moms. So there's different names for different groups, and you just ask to join or join them. And in those groups, the people trust each other a little bit more because they're, like you said, a little tighter knit group. So you often are having people in that group saying, hey, who do you use for trash pickup? Who do you use for the vet? Who cuts your hair? And like, ding, ding, ding. And so then if you're cutting a couple of people's hair in the group, you get named 1 or 2 times, then 5 or 6 times. And it grows within that group. Before you know it, you're cutting everybody in the hairs group, and you got to be in multiple groups like that. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a big one. That is definitely one way to do it. But what about some paid advertising? I'd like to talk about that for just a minute. It was so easy for so long, and still kind of, it's not as inexpensive as it used to be. Facebook, it still has, so I just want to say this because I know some people on here that are younger stylists are going to say, I don't have a Facebook. I'm not even on Facebook. Statistically, there's still more people on Facebook than any other social media platform. And yes, I know it's not all the young people that you might be wanting to do their hair, but a lot of times those young people don't have the money to get their hair done on a regular basis. And so they're coming in for the fun hair, the trendy hair, and it's a lot less often. So just a little word of advice. And I mean, they had weird advice when I was a kid doing hair. People were telling me I needed to do shampoo sets. That's where the money is, young man. You need that lady comes in every week. I mean, she's going to give you, you're going to charge her $10 and she's going to tip you $2 every single week. And I thought, $10, man, that doesn't seem like a lot. Yeah, but you can do her in 10 minutes because you're gonna shampoo her hair, put it in rollers, put her under the dryer. Then a second, a third, and a fourth one. You get 3 or 4 ladies under the dryer. Then you pop them out and you tease them and you pick them out and you put a little hairspray and they go. And so you can make $10 every 10 or 15 minutes depending on. And I was like, I just don't know. So that's how I feel right now, telling people about Facebook, because I know the young people are saying Facebook is out, Facebook is dead. Facebook is not dead. It is actually so alive that they're charging more for the advertising because they know it works. So it's not as great of a deal anymore, but it is still like the old TV or radio or things we had to pay for in the past, but it's a lot less expensive and you can target an area. You can pick an address and draw a circle 10, 15, 20, 30 miles around it. You can do that on a few different social medias. I mean, you can pay to advertise on Instagram and TikTok and all also. I'm just saying that the Facebook group is that age bracket that can afford to get their hair cut, colored, and highlighted. And many of that age group need color or highlights to look younger. And they'll be a very consistent client. Now, if you've got a specialty service, if you're just really driving it home, like in the beginning with the shampoo sets, I kind of got that started, but I actually started doing artificial nails. And I was getting $50, $55 for a new set of nails and a $20, $25 nail fill every 2 weeks, way better than a $10 shampoo set. And that grew really fast, super profitable. I was doing a whole lot of them until my back and shoulders started hurting while I was learning how to do extensions, which was another specialty service. So as I'm putting hair extensions in, collecting $600 and $800 in a few hours, I was like, I need to quit doing these nails and do more extensions. I'm never going to do a shampoo set again. That is not profitable. And so you kind of have to, I know there's a lot of different ways you can go, but just boosting a post for $5 or $10 for a few days on Facebook really works. So you can just take a post, go back, look at you should be posting regularly on all these sites, but go back and see on any one of the social medias, see which one performed the best, because that's the neatest thing is you can see how many views, how many shares, how many comments, and you can go back 2 or 3 weeks. And if one of those posts seem to get like 300 or 400 views where everything else is getting 40 or 50, take that one, click on boost post. Now I'm talking Facebook. I know there's ways to do this on the other social media sites too. Click on boost post and spend $5, $10, $20 and run it 2 or 3 days over the weekend and show your hair. You don't even have to create the ad. You just have a post that worked pretty well for you because it was beautiful hair or something about that. People really liked that before and after. It performed well in your free test group. So pay a few dollars and push it out a little further. And as you put a dollar amount in, it'll say, we'll reach 400 people. And so 2 ways to increase the amount of people it reaches. You can say, I'll spend $20 to boost this ad over 5 days. And it might say, we'll reach 500 people. Well, you know what? You can decrease the amount of days. You don't have to increase your money. You can say, well, let's just have it go out over 3 days. Well, then it might go up to 1,000 or 1,500 people because they're trying to get your money to work in a short amount of time so they get more people in a short amount of time. Or you can keep the amount of days and just increase the amount of dollars. So there's a couple of ways where you can get more people to see your ad by decreasing days or adding budget.
I'll add something to that too. I was in a meeting with a salon and they were telling me, it's really overwhelming. How am I going to sit there and make, 5 ads for 5 different platforms? And I was saying, well, that's a common mistake. Everybody thinks you have to make a specifically tailored ad for every single platform. You can there is no rule that says you can't run the same ad in multiple places, right?
Oh, right.
So if you only have the energy for one video or for one photo or for one post, whatever that is. I just did a post in one of our groups that I admin, in one of our private groups. And I literally said, take pictures, set up a little area and take pictures. That doesn't mean you have to post today's picture today. You can post today's picture next week, Just don't say when you took the picture, but you have a library of material and media ready to go. Yeah. So if you're going to put the energy in to make 2-3 videos or 2-3 whatevers, you're going to produce something, save 2 of them, test the one, throw it out there, have some fun with it, see how it performs, and then learn. Make your mistake and learn. And then take the next one and be better with it. And be experimental with it more. And make that mistake again and take that third one and then be better and just get good.
So the biggest secret in free marketing right now, because we spend tons of money advertising and marketing and always trying to figure out what's working and not working, is YouTube Shorts. Right now, YouTube is testing something. They're trying to compare and copy off of TikTok. And they have the budget to do it. They did it with stories. So YouTube's copied stories because, I don't know if it was Instagram or Snapchat or whoever did stories first, but they had the little short stories. So they did stories. So when you scroll through your YouTube feed, you'll have a bunch of vertical videos that you can slide through that are stories. You've also got the news. So you got your regular YouTube videos and you got the news and you got shorts and then you've got stories. And shorts is trying to copy off the TikTok format. And a lot of people, like you said, are using one video and just posting it in those multiple places because apps will help you do that too. But the neat thing about when a big company like YouTube and other guys have done things like this before too, when they want to get something working that's new for them, like when Instagram came out with IGTV, they as soon as you made a video or a live, it immediately showed a little bar up at the top of your screen. So-and-so is live right now. And so with the shorts, it's in beta testing, but it's so easy because if you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube channel.
Right.
You just have to, you just go to your YouTube channel and you press the plus button at the bottom and the number 15 is going to be there. It's encouraging you to do a 15-second video, but you can just touch that 15 and it turns into 60. And so you can do up to a 1-minute video. And you just touch that red button and it starts videoing you or whatever you're doing. Just show your salon or I'm so happy to blah, blah, blah. Now, the reason that it does the 15-second is if you want to add proprietary music, they are paying these artists to let you use all this music that's out there, just like TikTok does. You can apply a sound, but it will only play for the first 15 seconds. Weirdest thing. So if you do a 15-second video, it's going to perform way better and you can put music on it. But if you do a 60-second video and put music on it, music's only going to play for the 15 seconds, as weird as that is. So if you just want a video and you don't want to talk and add music, do the 15. But if you just want to talk, you can do 15 or 60. And when you do that video, YouTube is going to show it to more people in your area because it's in beta and they want it to work.
Yeah, sure.
So they're trying to help freely. That's where you take advantage of the free stuff. Do the free video shorts. I just started my first one earlier in the week. I talked about the shampoo thing in our salon, because I'm not going to talk about that today because that's going to go into one of our next services about shampooing because that makes a big difference in people's lives. Let's keep it on the marketing that first.
Do you have walk-ins listed anywhere in there?
I do. I have walk-ins listed because I think that happens too. That one of mine is the sign. They saw the sign. I put random. I had Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, random walk-in, see sign. Some people just see the sign on the road or on the building, and I just need a haircut. They're looking around like, oh, I see this place every day when I drive to work or school. And they need a haircut, a color, a highlight because their work says they do, their school says they do, their whatever it is. So, right. And then they walk in. I kind of want to stop it there because when they walk in, that's a whole new topic. What happens when they walk in?
Oh, yeah. But the thing what I want to point out, and this is something I learned when I owned my shop. Man, light bulbs are expensive, but if one of the bulbs in your sign burns out, you need to get that fixed. And you need to get that fixed with the quickness, And then the other thing I learned was our sign was really long. It was like the whole entire name of the salon with salon and spa afterwards. And I ended up after, there was like 73 light bulbs in it or some insane amount. And I'm like, you know what? We need to shorten this down a little bit. Like, this is too much. But then one of my friends in the city, at her shop, she had no lights. It was just it was a nice sign on top of the shop, but it was not illuminated. But then what she used to do was she'd take one of those, they're called A-frames. And you see them a lot in outside of restaurants or especially cafes. And then they'll put, special coffee
little, like
or
the
special
sidewalk,
drink.
like the sidewalk A-frame.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And she would go every morning, with the chalk, and she'd sit there and draw out some goofy looking thing. And then she'd put like a service special underneath at the bottom. Just one. She would only list one service. The whole sign was just some goofy stick figure drawing that she made up. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, hey, people will remember the stick figure. They will not remember the service, but they'll remember the sign and they'll remember the shop.
Yeah. I'd have to do stick figures. So that's good. I like the sidewalk sign because that's just one more little, it is old fashioned, but you should be an area where some people are walking on that sidewalk where there's other businesses around or something going on. And I always kind of see the signs. You almost have to walk around them. So you kind of notice them and something catchy. I think a stick figure is catchy, but
I have a question for you.
Some people are artistic
because you have windows in your salon. Not everybody's got windows, but you got windows, right?
That's why we have to be fully dressed.
So and just from the shirt up, don't stand up.
Right.
But no,
our windows go all the way down.
So here's the argument that I have with a lot of salon owners all the time. How much of that window is too much to be plastered with posters and images and signage and stuff like that?
So there's two thoughts behind that because I had a bunch of stuff on my window and then my wife said, that's too much stuff on your window.
Right.
And then she made us take it all off. So, I think that's a trend thing and different depending on your traffic and your image, and so I default to my wife for our image and she'll decide sometimes if we should market something on the window. But you're right. You can say who you are in the windows with posters and free stuff from the company. You can get those big things that are like, they have a whole bunch of little holes in them so you can still see out from the inside, but on the outside it looks like a big image of the hair you did or somebody did. Mm-hmm. It's a good idea if your wife will allow you put it on your
So that pretty much covers walk-ins. But so look, that's all part of walk-ins.
Yeah, it is. Or helps encourage them to actually, that's why I was like, why did I put so that's why it helps them to walk in and like, can you fix this? Actually, that's the fixed one. This is the one that really, she needs her hair fixed. You see, she's like, whoa. And she had some, what's that girl that just had the bad extensions on the red carpet in another country?
I heard about it, but I didn't bother to remember the name.
Probably shouldn't mention any names,
celebrity.
Angelina Jolie. So I won't say Angelina Jolie's name because how could she not know? Anyway, let's move on from here. We're going to go to YouTube jail now. I think we got to end it here because I would like to go further. I love the client journey. I like getting in ahead of the first time that made me think about this was I hired a salon coordinator, and that cost a lot of money back in the day. And she walked in like this. And she started looking around. She walked in the front door with her pen and pad, and I got nervous. She's looking at the ceiling, and then she writes stuff down. The wall, she wrote stuff down. Looked at my chair. I was like, oh, my God. She then gave me a list. You got some color on the ceiling above that station. You need to paint that. There's a wire sticking out. Must have been a light fixture before. There's a hole over there. You need to cover that hole. And I thought, wow, you don't see it anymore. You just don't see it when it's your place. And so maybe you could do that on your own place or get your mom or best friend or a friend or a client. Say, hey, would you be really real with me and walk in from the street? You got bulbs out on your sign. Walk from the street into my place, through the place, in the bathroom. I don't know why I did this. In the bathroom, walk through the whole place, write down, not that you're going to do it all, but you could have the list. And a bunch of those things can be really quick, fast, easy fixes. I mean, you might have a bag of trash pulled out the can sitting on the side because maybe your salon coordinator empties the trash in the morning, puts it on the side of the desk, and doesn't take it out till the evening. And it's like, no, we need to change that. A bag of trash doesn't sit in the salon for more than 2 seconds. Take it out. If you can, get it out of here. So there's just things that you don't see because you're so used to it. Ask somebody to walk through and write all that down.
You just made me remember one more thing. This one is the worst one. Okay, so but to add to that real quick, someone that you know, or like someone that you trust, that critiques your shop, you get your everybody has a cynical family member that just complains about everything. Invite them over. That's the best one. but
that's funny.
You just made me remind me of something. The other thing of how clients find you is by you yourself. And when we're at the salon, for the most part, we usually look good and presentable. But how does a stylist look like on their day off?
I do these classes, I know, and people come and they say, "Oh, I didn't know we were going to do a group photo." You should never dress like that, ma'am. What is it? What is that side ponytail, no makeup, and sweatpants doing in my salon? I don't care if you're taking a class. I don't care if you're going shopping, going to the grocery store. Right. We're in the image business. My wife gets mad at me all the time because I go to Home Depot. I don't know if you knew that. And I don't dress like a stylist to go to Home Depot. I do have some crappy jeans. Now, I'm not behind the chair anymore, so I have a better excuse. I'm not looking for clients, so I can dress down. But there was a time when even going to the airport to travel to another salon, I wanted to dress comfortable, and my wife said, "You see some of your students in the airport. You can't dress like that." And I'm like,
so
yes, ma'am.
Carmelina's, my wife's family has now learned when they ask me, or if they ask Carmelina what's going to be the dress code to whatever we're going with, when one of us say casual, they say you're casual, or like the rest of the world casual, like society casual, like airport go to in my pajamas casual, or like, because they say when we are dressed down, in comparison, we are still dressed up.
Yeah.
But like to us, our thing has just gotten our standard of dressing down is still, we're ready. Like I can walk behind the chair at any second and still look like I belong in a salon somewhere, anywhere.
Right. Like my wife always has heels on. I mean, if somebody sees her in tennis shoes twice a year, they're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" I mean, she's always got heels on, which dresses up anything she has. But yeah, she doesn't know how to dress down either. All right, we're getting on a tangent now. We got to wrap it up. I got a lot to do today.
Yeah, no, that just reminded me of that last thing. All right,
so good. Yeah,
this is going to be a journey. We're going to be discussing different parts of the journey for the client, right? Today was the how do they find you? What are your options? Things like that. What we want to hear from all of you too is, what is your guys' experience? What is your guys' suggestions? Let's share all of that up. And then, Bernard, what do they do with these videos?
What videos?
The whole YouTube thing, man. Buy you a coffee.
Buy me a coffee, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, that really helps us. I mean, we don't get paid for this. We are monetized now, and we're going to talk about this in the near future. We're going to donate all the money that we've gotten from YouTube this whole first year to some childhood cancer cause. So we're not going to keep any of the money the whole first year, but we're going to do a whole video about that in the near future. But in the meantime, you can help these videos get to more people if you subscribe, like, comment. You can even dislike, and it helps us. You can do a thumbs down, and it's activity we need. All right, so I'm getting lost in the crowd. I got to run.